Hello everybody, how are you all doing? Welcome back to Man City Unplugged, your very own Man City fan channel. This is going to be difficult. This is going to be very difficult choosing a team for the game against Dortmund. I mean, we've got so much of, a break in between, and almost most of the players are fit. Yesterday, Pep said in the press conference, I think it's Kyle Walker and John Stones with a bit of niggles. Walker may be a bit more than a niggle, but other than that, all of the players are fit. So it's going to be very difficult. I'm very sure that I'm going to get a couple of things wrong here in the predicted lineup. But with the goalkeeper, I thought in the last match it could have been Ortega, but Pep went with Ederson, so I'll start Ederson. I still find it intriguing why Ortega came then if he wasn't promised a Champions League start. Did he come at 29 years of age when other top clubs like Bayern Munich were calling him and other clubs in Germany who were offering him first team football and more salary? Why did he reject all of that and come to City? I still can't understand. That is one thing that always intrigues me, okay, more competition to Ederson, but if you're 22, 23, Pep Guardiola, you want to learn from him, you want to learn the system, that is fine. But at 29, when you're being offered more salary, when other clubs are also in for you, I don't understand this Ortega thing. But anyway, I think it's Ederson. That's going to be a straight thing. And left back is going to be Sergio Gomez. I think there's no question about it. Uh, I mean, if Walker was fit, then it will be very interesting to see how Pep will go then. But let us see Sergio Gomez here. Yes, we've got Sergio Gomez. So Sergio Gomez is straight pick, and I thought he had a wonderful game against Sevilla. Dortmund will be a much sterner test for him. I'm sure about that. But the thing that stood out against Sevilla was his intelligence in occupying spaces, intelligence in knowing when to come inside and when to stay wide, or when to stay in those defensive positions and when to occupy those attacking positions. That is something which is very very difficult to learn. When Pep himself said that the players are still learning the inverted fullback system, for example, even at the start of this season he said that Kyle Walker, especially after the Newcastle game, Pep said that Kyle Walker has to still learn when to come inside and when to stay wide and stuff. But Sergio Gomez didn't seem to have any problems. Now he's a midfielder that could have helped him, but his intelligence was something that stood out to me, and he had more pace and than Zinchenko, and he was defensively. I think he was defensively much better than Zinchenko. So with that intelligence, if you have someone with as much of a defensive ability as Gomez showed against Sevilla, especially one-on-one defending, there were two three instances where I was really impressed with Sergio Gomez. So I think, I mean, you could almost sense that maybe could you see some flashes of Eric Abidal, uh, whom Pep converted from a midfielder into a left back. So you could see some of those flashes in Joe Gomez maybe. So Joe Gomez is a straight pick for me, and right back. I mean, a right back I can make it interesting. You could have a case, or will it be Cancelo? Will it be Akanji? If there was no break, there would have been a case for that. But now there's a break, and Pep will look to give Cancelo as many minutes as possible on his preferred side. So Cancelo for me, hands down. Now the centre backs. That is a big question. Yesterday, I think we had a video about it. Even I had written an article in my blog about it. I think regarding the centre back situation, because I think apart from Stones, all of the other centre backs are fit. So which two of your centre backs will you play? For me, in the Champions League, it has to be okay. It's easier here because Laporte is just getting back from injury, so he might maybe have a substitute appearance at best. So you have to choose between Diaz, Ake, and Akanji. Could be a little bit easier, but even when everyone is available, like I said in yesterday's video as well, for a Champions League, I would actually prefer Ake on the left hand side, even when Laporte is available, or even when John Stones is available. So Nathan Ake for me on the left hand side, and the right hand side you could say Ruben Diaz. Maybe because Diaz scored a goal against Sevilla, it seemed as if he was getting back to a bit of his best. But I think the centre back which stood out in the entire game has to be Manuel Akanji. He took a lot of people by surprise. Many people were thinking that he has just come here to cover up, for Diaz, Laporte, and he is surely the fourth choice centre back, or that's what people were telling. But Akanji has showed that he's much more than that. He's a presence. I would not be surprised if Akanji becomes our mainstream centre back. I don't know who gets down in the picking order, but it's so surprising, right? Because Ake and Akanji, if I would tell you a season earlier, you would tell me that they're just backup centre backs. They're just in the case of crisis, our main centre backs are Laporte, Diaz. It tells you that how things can change with the flip of a finger. Things can change in a matter of seconds. Ake had an excellent preseason. Akanji came due to injuries to Laporte and all, and he just felt like a towering presence. So I would not be surprised if Pep prefers Ake and Akanji in the very big games, moving away from sort of preferring Laporte Diaz, preferring Diaz Stones. I do think Akanji will be there in any of the centre back pairing. And now you see there's a distinct advantage of playing these two. Akanji is absolutely excellent on the ball. He's even better than Stones on the ball. I think he's the best centre back on the ball for us. I think I think he's even a bit better than Laporte as well on the ball. Akanji. So and he has pace as well. Now with Ake and Akanji, it suddenly is that both of them have pace. So the ball over the top doesn't become an option for the opposition teams. I mean, it would have been interesting to see Ake and Akanji play against Newcastle. I don't think they would have had as much joy as they did have. Even Crystal Palace as well. So even an Aston Villa for that matter. So I think this pairing could be much more explosive than what people might actually think. Let's go into the midfield again. This is an interesting now. Calvin Phillips had a great game against Sevilla. So would you start him? Would you give rest to Rodri? Because you have, I know it's a break and everyone's well rested, but Calvin Phillips, I feel that Calvin Phillips would be getting more minutes, but if the break wasn't there, surely if Calvin Phillips would have been starting this game. But I would actually go with Rodri here because I think Pep will start Rodri just because everyone's well rested. Otherwise, I thought Calvin Phillips deserves a game with his passing, with the switching. He looked more dynamic. I'm not telling for a I'm not telling you for any reason that Rodri should just be dropped and bring Calvin Phillips into the side. No. But I thought for the little amount of time which Calvin Phillips played against Sevilla, he offered a different dynamic. Now, in some games, you would need, solid presence like Rodri, and in some games, you would need a dynamic presence like Calvin Phillips. Calvin Phillips is somewhat like a Fernandinho. He can cover wide spaces. I mean, his movement is so versatile, whereas Rodri is not so fast to cover the entire length of the pitch, right? And also with Calvin Phillips, I do think you can play two attacking midfielders with both the fullbacks also bombing up. But with Rodri, I do think you always need to have a box-to-box midfielder, or you need to have someone inverting beside him. So I think it depends on which games Pep thinks. Okay, I will have to need more attacking presence, or I would want my fullbacks to provide me with rather than inverting. I think in those matches. Pep might play Calvin Phillips. Otherwise, I do think Pep will play Rodri. And don't get me wrong, Rodri has been the best CDM in the world in the last year or so. It's just that Phillips offers you a different alternative. Now, these both positions can be interesting, but I do think Pep will go with Bernardo Silva on the left. Now you could say maybe Gundogan, but I think Pep will go with Bernardo Silva, and I think it's Kevin De Bruyne on the right. Gundogan is another interesting thing here because even he deserves to play, and we have seen, that when Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, and Gundogan, all the three of them play. I think you either play Gundogan in the place of Rodri, but you have seen how it worked out in the Champions League final. So that is not an obvious choice which Pep will make. Then the second choice you're left with is play stick Bernardo down on the right wing and play Gundogan on the in the middle alongside De Bruyne. And we have seen that that affects the balance of the side. It almost is that De Bruyne then has to go outside and provide the width, because if you stick Bernardo on the right wing, he likes to come inside. So the opposition is getting it easy having De Bruyne on out wide. At least it becomes easier to defend than defending against De Bruyne at the center of the pitch where he can go both ways. So at least for me, I think only two of the three should play. It's, I mean, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, and De Bruyne, only two. Only I think it can be at the Silva, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Silva, De Bruyne, Gundogan. Only two of those combinations. I would not at all be happy if Pep tries to fit all the three in, irrespective of their form and all. It just affects the balance. Left wing, I'll go with Grealish here. I think Pep will go with Jack Grealish on the left wing because he's had a fantastic game, and Grealish needs that confidence to cut inside. I mean confidence to play in the team more, especially after the injury. So I think Pep will start Grealish, and also Pep will want the connection to develop between Grealish and Haaland. And the reason for that is Pep knows the season is long and he just can't continue playing. He just can't continue playing, Foden in every match. So he would need Grealish. Ford and Haaland connection is good. So now he would want Grealish Haaland connection to develop so that he can rest one of them and play the other, because Pep knows it would almost be impossible going forward to play both of them in the same game. So, and both of them also have almost the same dynamic, right? Okay, Foden can maintain width, but generally the game of both of them is both of them won't love to cut inside. So I do think Pep might play Foden as well in this game, but going forward, I do think Pep will either play Jack Grealish or either play Phil Foden. I mean, the right wing, I do think Pep will start Julian Alvarez on the right wing. Now, people might think Riyad Mahrez should be a sure starter or even a Phil Foden there, but my thing is Julian Alvarez deserves a lot more minutes than any other player on the pitch, because whenever he's played on the pitch, he's looked almost like he's almost had 10 out of 10 performances every time he's come onto the pitch. He's carried up the instructions exceptionally well. I haven't seen him lose the ball at all. He knows exactly which spaces to occupy and where to drag the defenders. It almost seems that Julian Alvarez is playing under Pep for last 20, 30 years. That's how he's playing in this system. And it almost becomes a sin. It almost becomes a crime to not give Julian Alvarez minutes at all, considering the kind of form he's showing, considering the kind of intelligence he's showing in carrying out Pep's instructions. His finishing is ruthless as well. He's everything. He's everything that Pep wants. And also playing Julian Alvarez on the right, he can cut inside, he can hold the width, he can drop into the midfield, he can do the work of two, three, four players as well. So he's so versatile. He's almost like he reminds you of Roberto Firmino in terms of his pressing and his versatility, but his finishing is at least 10 times better than Roberto Firmino. And don't get me wrong, Alvarez finishing can only be compared to the absolute best in the world. It stands alongside Haaland, Benzema, Lewandowski. That is the stature of Alvarez finishing. So his finishing is absolutely superb. He's ruthless. So his finishing is better than Roberto Firmino for sure. But his versatility and everything, Harry Kane, Roberto Firmino, those are the kind of players you associate with Julian Alvarez in terms of the intelligence. So I do think he'll start. And for strike, I don't think that there will ever be any prizes for guessing who will start. It's Erling Haaland. You can just see the ruthlessness. You can just see the hunger in his eyes to score goals, and score more goals. I just think he eats goals for breakfast. Again, he repeats it for lunch. Again, it's a repeat for dinner. And again, he listens to music about goals and sleeps. Again, his alarm is about goals when he gets up. I think it's all about goals. But Erling Haaland is so ruthless. So Haaland will start. I mean, you could make an argument that Pep would rest Haaland, and it would have been the case if there was no break. But another thing is, if a striker is on a hot streak, you don't rest him. You play him as much as possible because strikers. I know Haaland is different, but generally strikers, the game is based on goals, on form, on hunger, and also. So I think Haaland will start. I'm really happy with the back four actually, back four and the front three in this game. The midfield is interesting whether it'll go with Gundogan or De Bruyne, but overall I think I'm very happy if Pep goes with this team. I'm quite sure this team will be very close to what Pep picks. The centre back positions, Ake Akanji, maybe he would pick someone, Diaz Akanji. I do not know about that. And maybe he might play Gundogan there. In place of Alvarez, he might play Foden or Mahrez. I do not know. But apart from those two, three things, I do think this could be the closest to what Pep picks against Dortmund today. Do let me know in the comments below if you feel that the Pep will pick a different player in certain position like a centre back, or how will Pep adjust Gundogan, Bernardo and De Bruyne, or will Pep play Julian Alvarez, or will Pep give chance to Riyad Mahrez or Foden on the right? Do let me know in the comments below. And also, if you like the video, please click on the like button and also the bell icon and the subscribe button so that you get notifications when we come up with new videos. Take care, guys, and see you.